parent gave false information and changed my doctor's appointment, trying to help, but I'm really angry. Overreacting. So I had a bad fight with my parents. We rarely fight. And I need some perspective as to whether I'm on the right side of things or not. I'm 21 and I live with my parents and brother due to having just graduated and the whole covered situ. And brother due, I intend to move out in hopefully less than a year's time when I've saved up enough. But until then we're having to get along as a family under the same roof. Today I made a doctor's appointment to change my contraceptive and I was able to get an appointment for Wednesday. I was fine with this as it's non-urgent. I just want to change before the end of my last packet because it's giving me acne. I complained to my mum earlier about period pains and about bleeding, and I took one paracetamol, no different to usual in this aspect. I think she took this as that's why I wanted to change, even though I said it's because my skin was getting worse, the original reason for me going on. I told her I got an appointment for Wednesday and that I could wait a few days because it wasn't urgent and I was fine to wait. She said it was ridiculous. I had to wait that long, but no more was said about it. When my dad gets home, I hear him speaking to my doctor on the phone, telling them I'm bleeding severely and I absolutely need an appointment for tomorrow. He gets the appointment, tells me and expects a thank you. This isn't the first time this has happened either. I shouted at them like I've never shouted before. I've never had arguments with my parents before, as I feel I'm very respectful and mindful of everything they do for me, and I kind of just go along with whatever they say. But I felt like this went over the line, and I said it was my appointment, and they had no right to change it without asking me, and the false information they've given could affect my medication change. I was particularly harsh by Mum, as I feel like she knew my dad would get on the phone and demand to change it, as he's done this with my appointments before. I understand they were trying to help, and I've said to them that I know they meant well. But what they did was unacceptable. Am I being overdramatic? And do I need to go and apologise? Too long. Dad called my doctor and made things sound worse than they were to get an earlier appointment based on what my mum told him, even though I said I was fine to wait a few days. They say they were just helping, but I am very angry and shouted at, feeling bad and need some perspective. You need to clarify with your doctor that they don't have that kind of power, and then promptly make it to where any don't have that kind of power on any necessary official documents. I'm seeing a lot of good advice regarding the doctor already, so I don't feel the need to repeat any of it. As far as your parents, you're old enough to be taking care of your health and appointments. They still see you as a child to have taken over like that, especially without consulting you. However, based on what you said, it sounds like that is how it's been, and this is just the last straw for you without you saying anything. It's possible I'm extrapolating too much from your posts, but if that is the case, then you should be glad that this was a relatively minor incident that sparked. If you jumped to anger and yelling, you were triggered. You've been silent and obedient too long. Your mind hasn't wanted what you've been choosing, what they've been choosing. Built up anger eventually finds its way out, and it is irresponsible as an adult to let it out uncontrolled. I want you to know that I'm not judging. I've been the same way and didn't realize where all my anger came from for a long time. The whole quiet, peaceful obedience to your parents thing isn't actually good for our minds. Teaches us to be willing doormats and builds up reservoirs of anger that unleash blindly later in life, sometimes to the wrong people. You're lucky you let it out at the right people. You need to stand up for yourself. Establish your adult status with them. Yes, you will have to be considerate and respectful living in their house, but that doesn't give them the right to overstep your boundary. Discuss what that means for you. As an outsider looking in, and as a young parent who's had several older figures try to control things, I understand both sides. I think your parents have the mentality of these doctors, have no idea how important my daughter is. I'm going to make a scene so that they see her immediately, and did not have the foresight of how that info would affect what you were given by your doctor. However, I completely understand that you are an adult, and you had already handled your own business. I think a calm discussion of telling them that you'd prefer to have confidentially with your doctor would be a good start. They may be hurt, but I'm sure they would understand this, especially since it's birth control. Unless they want to hear everything about your sex life, which I doubt.